when I was in the third grade. I thought that I was gay, and I was. Cammie's got original vibe.
Oh, it's filming. Oh my god, yeah, I was like, that sounds so familiar. Okay, hi guys, welcome back. I have a very special guest, Shannon here.
What's up?
I don't know how to do this.
I have a very special guest. You sound like we're like 80 years old.
I'm doing a talk show. You guys asked for it. Shannon tricked me into it.
That's not true.
If you guys don't know, I started a series on my channel called Asking for a Friend, where you guys send me questions and I answer them. Most of your questions have been centered around breakups, getting over an ex, when to break up, how to be friends with an ex. So I thought, what better way to answer these questions than with my ex?
Ah, how weird. Let's do it. I'm excited.
Are you?
Yeah, we know all about breakups.
We have
Had one.
How do you go about handling a breakup when you want to break up but the other person may not want the same thing? I don't think that was the case with us at all, but I think that I've had a lot of friends go through this and it can be really difficult. The best advice I personally can give is you're not doing them any favors. I know you might want to be nice or hold on for them, but staying with someone when you're not completely in it, you're doing them a disservice. Allow someone who's gonna love them properly and want to be with them. They're a good person, they deserve that.
Like if you stay with someone and you shouldn't be with them and you know you shouldn't be with them, then you're just being selfish. You're not helping anyone.
These are all like heavy questions, but we're just gonna do it. You guys said you need to break up to discover yourselves. So do you feel you have accomplished that?
Have you been discovered? It sounds like a modeling.
Yeah, I've been discovered.
I mean, I feel like what we were saying when we were saying like whatever in our breakup video, link in bio. You. I'm kidding. I feel like what we were saying though was more that we didn't know who we were without each other. It was less of like, I have no idea who I am. It was like, who are we without each other? Because so much of our identity became like together. So I feel like there's no way we couldn't have discovered more about ourselves.
Yeah. And not to say like we didn't know who we were, but I needed to realize like who I was, how I was being affected by Shannon or by the relationship. You can do that while being in a relationship. I'm not saying just because you're confused or you're going through a hard time means you have to break up with the person you're with. But if it is taking a toll on the relationship or you feel yourself questioning it a lot, then you kind of need to go figure your stuff out. I just think you need to take time on your own sometimes, and I don't think we had that. Like, we really did grow up together a little bit. We were both still in college when we met. I moved from Pittsburgh to Dallas and then we moved to LA together. Like it was a growing time in both of our lives, and we just did all of it as a unit and like worked together, lived together, had all the same friends that we kind of lost our individual identities.
Sense of self.
If I went somewhere without Shannon, they're like, where's Shannon?
Yeah.
But I didn't know who I was without her either. I was like, yeah, you're right, where is she? What do I do? Do you miss each other?
Oh my god! Yeah, like of course, right? I feel like that's like the weirdest and hardest part about like breaking up with someone is that they go from someone you talk to every day to like, there's just no way. Even if you're gonna stay friends with like an ex, which I think you can, but like there's no way it's this, your dynamic is gonna change for sure. Mm-hmm. So like, the only way I wouldn't miss you is if I like hated you or we had like a terrible breakup, which I don't feel like we did. Yeah. Right? Yeah. In a healthy way, not in a like...
Yeah, not in like a, I want to be back together. Love me. I think especially because our lives were so intertwined that we kind of had to like rebuild everything. Like,
totally, yeah.
Even if not that we hated each other at all, but even if you hated that person, it can kind of get confusing. Like, do I miss how my life was? And my whole life was you. So it was like, I know that sounded so weird, but you were like in every aspect of my life. Like I didn't have a hobby, a friend, anything that you weren't there. Yeah. And I think that really
sounds
dangerous. Terrible. And it was. That's like really unhealthy.
Yeah, exactly. You saying that, it's like, yeah, they broke up. That's terrible.
And like just to add on to that, you in any relationship, you need your own things. Like,
yeah, holy shit.
Whether you're at a job all day, like we didn't have anything to talk about at the end of the day. It was like, what'd you do today? You know what it is.
We've been together all day.
Like that's super unhealthy. Segueing into staying friends with an ex, because you mentioned that. I think that's the #1 question I get about Shannon, other than, would you guys ever get back together? My stance on if you want to have a friendship with an ex is you need to stop talking to them for a while. I personally don't feel like it's possible to just like snap your fingers and go from being with them and then
well, especially for
just
like from like
friends.
3.5 years. Like I think maybe.
And
if
it's
you
the
were
only
in a-
way I knew you. We
were never
first.
friends. So yeah, and never friends. We were never
I
friends.
never liked you.
I was just thinking, except for remember when we first started talking, and I was like, I just want to be your friend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, obviously the like parameters of our relationship are so different because it was so public.
Yeah.
And that could be really hard also like in the future, like that's getting thrown in the faces
I mean,
of
like
everyone.
get tagged every day.
Yeah.
Pictures on Instagram. This video is not gonna help, but we get tagged every day in pictures together. So like you have to take new dating partners' feelings into consideration. So there's no answer being like, hey, follow these
Yeah,
steps.
this is how you
can
are
be-
friends.
Yeah. Just be honest with yourself. If you still have feelings for them, don't do it. Probably.
I would rather pause our friendship for like 2, 3 something years. 4, 5, 9, 10. But I'd rather pause our friendship now than try to be like best friends off the bat and then like cause like something where like then we'll never be able to be friends. So basically what we're saying is we're best friends.
Sure. Okay, little disclaimer because we kind of realized that made us sound like we're so not friends. I don't want to like, whoa. Yeah, Shannon and I might not be like hanging out one-on-one all the time. Like we're not each other's best friend, but we have similar friend
Definitely,
groups.
we're
like,
friendly. For
yeah,
sure.
I invited you to my birthday. You didn't come.
I had the flu,
Yeah,
so
she
you're
was sick.
welcome.
Yeah,
Literally
whatever.
had the flu. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We respect each other.
What's your take on continuing a relationship that feels good right now but has no long-term potential?
I personally don't believe in like getting into relationships with someone unless you think that you will be with them forever. Which
I think it depends what age
no,
you
no,
are.
it definitely does. But even when I was like 18, which is like when I met you, like I'm not gonna get into a serious relationship where I'm like really like pouring myself into someone and like I'm not even saying like be exclusive with someone, but I'm saying like get into a serious relationship unless I think there is a chance I could be with them forever. Because like it's just not worth the time. Like I just can't imagine doing that. I don't think there's anything wrong with dating people for fun. Like fully, obviously you should date people for fun if you're like young and like whatever. Like I've dated people and not like been in a relationship with someone. Like I think that's totally fine.
When do you know it's time to call things off?
What's that song? Call it off. What's that song? It's like Tegan and Sarah.
Wait, what?
Call your boyfriend.
It's time we had a talk. Dev. Let me look it up. Robin.
Deb.
Yeah, that song.
Is it called Call It Off?
Call your girlfriend. Were you thinking of a different song?
Yeah.
I think that can be really hard. Also, I'm gonna couple this with another question I know somebody asked, which is how to know when your relationship isn't right or if it's other factors in your life. And I don't think there's any direct answer to be like, oh, just do this and you'll know what it is. But if it's affecting your relationship, if other problems in your life are really kind of being magnified within your relationship, or you're not treating your significant other properly because you're dealing with stuff, you maybe need to take time to yourself to deal with those in order to be with someone. A lot of people stay in relationships longer than they should because they're like, am I just not trying hard enough, or am I staying in something that's not right? I think it's just a feeling.
There's definitely no black and white answer, but I do think that if you're finding yourself trying to convince yourself of the reasons why you're still dating someone, or you're like, I should be together with this person because of this and this and this and this, it's like, that's kind of a sign that like, why am I having to convince myself to be in a relationship? I think relationships, like if they're working and they're like happening organically, then you're not having to be like, but we have this and we do that and I love that and this is great. Like that's like obviously getting to a point where like maybe something like a feeling thing is lost and then you're trying to rationalize it. I think that's a good sign.
Yeah. If you're spending the majority of your time thinking like, I don't want to be with this person, or wondering what it would be like without that person, if most of your time is spent thinking that instead of like, I'm so lucky to have this human in my life, it might be time to
Axe them.
Is it normal to still miss your ex from time to time, even if you're technically pretty much over them? You can miss the life you had with a person, especially if your life changes a lot. Like I think our lives changed
100%.
completely.
Like a 180.
180. 360, we're back together. I I think there's a big difference between like missing the person and wondering if you should be back with them, but like, and a whole nother thing when you're over it and you're good and then being like, why am I having these feelings of missing them? I know with us, like you were my best friend. So it wasn't just like losing a significant other. It was like, who am I gonna hang out with? Like, this was true. I felt like I didn't even foster my friendships properly because I always had someone to hang out with. True. I didn't need to hang out with anyone else. Someone was always gonna be there.
That's
so
true.
you're
always said true, like true.
That's true.
That's so true.
I think that you might get those feelings confused of missing the person and missing the situation or the circumstances or anything like that.
But you can definitely miss someone and not want to be with them.
Yeah.
So that's like, I mean, I miss my mom. So, you know, like, I'm saying like you can miss someone just because they're like absent and that doesn't, like make sure you're not confusing like just like you miss someone because they were like so important to you and like missing someone thinking like I need to be with them. Like it's very different.
Yeah, you can miss someone and not want to like be with them. Your mom was a weird example. No, what's that?
Oh my god.
You like it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
I want
Wait.
it. Yeah, get that T-zone. My ex gives me a just over.
Wait, I don't think, do you see? Fucking end it.
All right, thank you
The
guys.
end of our relationship. Wait, you actually put me on.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. We also did a video over on Shannon's channel, so make sure you check that one out.
Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell button because apparently YouTube doesn't tell anyone about the video.
Yeah, that's true. Tell them if they are coming from your channel to subscribe to me. That's what you do.
If you guys are coming over from my channel, make sure you subscribe to Cammie's channel. She's almost at 300K, which is amazing.
I hit it.
She is at 300K and she deserves it. Okay, let's get her to 400K. Subscribe to Cammie's channel. She's the best.
That was so sweet that you said that so organically and naturally. All right, love you guys so much. I'll see you next week. Bye.
We don't tell anyone we dated, and there's no way to know.
No one would ever know.
Who, Shannon?
Just Matt.